Awesome. Can we just start with you saying your name and spelling it for us?
Yeah, Wayne Newman, W-A-Y-N-E, last name Newman, N-E-W-M-A-N.
Perfect. And is there a title that I could put for you here at Baylor Scott and White?
Supervisor and supervisor of the endoscopy department.
Awesome. Perfect. Well, without jumping ahead, tell us a little bit of your background about how you decided to become a nurse and work here.
Yeah, absolutely. So I grew up in Arizona. My mom is in the medical field, so she is a laboratory technician, so spent a lot of time within the hospital, but my father ended up having an injury, so spent a lot of time in the hospital, multiple surgeries. At this point in time, obviously still with us, but has a lot of pain, a lot of different circumstances, but getting to see him be a part of being in the hospital, spending a lot of time, still going through a lot of pain management, really kind of just drove me to be one of those people for somebody else. In high school, felt like it was placed on my heart that I needed to go into the medical field and nursing specifically, and man, I'm so thankful that I actually jumped into it and started that journey there.
How long have you been a nurse?
I've been a nurse now for it'll be 7 years in August. Yes.
Gotcha. And when did you know you wanted to be a nurse?
So around that same time, again, just experiencing everything that my father went through, and again, just spending the time within the hospital with my mom. I would get to go in with her sometimes, but yeah, high school was really kind of just felt like it was just loud and clear, like gonna go into the nursing field, and stuck with it. Ended up going into school in Nashville, Tennessee, and then pursued it from there.
Tell us a little bit more about your day-to-day and what you do as a nurse.
Yeah, so currently I am the supervisor of the endoscopy department. So my role is to take care of the nurses and the techs and everybody that are taking care of our patients. I do have the frontline experience. I spent about 5.5 years of med-surg, ER, surgical recovery, and the OR. But now I really get to thrive and really taking the fact that I get to be there for the people who are frontline for our endoscopy patients now, and that's kind of what my day-to-day looks like, making sure I'm checking on them. Obviously the administration management side of things, but my biggest something that just makes me smile is being able to take care of the nurses that are taking care of the patients.
Yeah, you mentioned that a bit, but what is the best part about your job? What do you most enjoy about it?
The relationships, not only with my staff, but with the patients. College Station is such a unique place, and you really get to, it's just fun to build those relationships with not only the nurses, but those patients, and just get to spend that time with them, just kind of being there. Obviously, nobody ever is thrilled about getting a colonoscopy or an EGD. So I think just being able to build a quick relationship with a patient, make them feel comfortable before their procedure, and then again, as a supervisor, getting to be there for the team as they take care of those patients. I think that's the most enjoyable and the most satisfying part of my job.
We obviously appreciate all that you guys do as nurses, and it may seem like a silly question, but why is nursing so important? Why is it an important career?
That's a great question. Nursing is such an important career because you're really that middle ground between a patient and the physician, right? But not only that, healthcare, most people think of healthcare as the physical, right? Something's wrong, we gotta fix it. But healthcare is the emotional, the mental, the spiritual, and I think we as nurses, we really get to be, as somebody of faith, we really get to be the hands and feet of Jesus, and that is just, to me, that's what's important. We really get to jump in, be there for people, and just be there, even in an emergency situation. Obviously, we are there trying to do everything we can to fix the situation, but we're hitting all aspects of healthcare, and I think that's what's most important is we are that liaison between physicians and patients, but we are that point of contact, and we're the ones who can really make a patient stay that much greater.
And you mentioned that nursing can have a lot of challenges at times. It can be very difficult. So where do you find strength in moments of difficult times?
I mean, definitely, again, back to the relationships. The relationships with your team is what built it, right? You're in it together, and that's something that we as Baylor Scott and White, man, we really hammer in, is that we are in this together, and that is so prevalent, and I think that's what gives that strength. But I think, and again, as somebody who has a faith, jumping into that prayer and just remembering why we got into this. What is our why, right? We're here to take care of people. We're here to be there to show, hey, we got you. We're going to take care of you. There's a light at the end of the tunnel in whatever circumstance that you have, and that's the most important thing. And plug it in with your team, with your leaders, and just remembering, hey, we're in this together.
I think my last question for you is, if someone's thinking about getting into nursing, someone's thinking, well, maybe this is the right career for me, what would you tell them?
I definitely think it's something that, for one, pray about, but also just really dive in, really think about if that's something that you really feel like you're being called to, but don't shy away from that either. Nursing is such a rewarding experience. It's such a rewarding job. Get chills kind of talking about it. It's just, there's so many, there's a big reward at the end of it, and just knowing that, hey, I was able to help somebody out today. Whether that was, hey, just having a conversation, making them feel a little bit more calm before a procedure, or, like Jacolby just jumping in the ER and, hey, we're saving somebody's life right now, right? We're getting that IV started, we're getting whatever medication. There's just so many facets of reward, and then humility, and just knowing, hey, I was here to just jump in and be a part of somebody's life for a second. And again, that all ties back. Somebody was a part of my family's life and medical care, and now I get to be a part of that for somebody else, and that's the biggest reward for me. And so if you're feeling like you want to jump in and be a part of that, jump in, do it. Take the time, do the research. Obviously, don't understand everything that goes into nursing, but don't hesitate either.
Yeah, and I believe for my last question, with this week being Nurse Week, what is the best way for people to show support for nurses and to be able to help wherever possible?
I think it's just one of those things. Everybody within healthcare is important, right? Everybody has a specific duty, specific part. But again, just if you see somebody with a badge on, just tell them thank you, because again, frontline staff, from the techs to the physicians, right? It takes a lot to jump in and be there for somebody physically, emotionally, spiritually, and but just taking the time to say thank you, and just remember that nurses are more than just the people who wear the scrubs. They're really jumping in and doing a lot of different things to take care of those people.
All right, thank you very much.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Say your name and spell it for us.
Yes, my name is Jobi Robinson, Jacolby, Robinson, Robinson.
And what is a title that we could put for you, or a position?
Emergency department nurse.
Perfect. I'll let you start.
Yep. Oh, you've got
I was gonna, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was just for the beginning part.
Okay.
It was just for the
Sorry.
beginning part.
I'm being nosy.
All right, so how long have you been a nurse?
Actually, coming up this month will be my first full year as a nurse.
Gotcha, and what made you want to be a nurse?
So I actually didn't have nursing as my top career choice, but unfortunately in the year 2020 there was a very tragic family incident that I had, and the care that my family member received, even though the outcome was not what I would like it to have been, just the care received made the big difference, and I hit the ground running, and I just chose nursing as my field.
When we talk about what you do day to day, talk about your role here at Baylor Scott & White, what does that look like?
So my day-to-day, as I stated, I'm an emergency department nurse, so each day is a little bit different. Each patient is a little bit different, and that's what I really love about the role. You don't, not to say anyone is complacent, but you get to experience so much. You get to have a different kind of outlook on the way that you see the world, see people, things like that, and it's just a never-ending stop of that, and I love it.
Yeah, you mentioned, what does your everyday kind of look like?
Usually I'll get in and I'll do my patient assessments, check on all of my patients, and then proceed from there, do whatever nursing interventions are needed, such as medications, again, the assessments, speaking with family members, whatever may need to be done. And that's kind of like a continuation, but again, not every patient is going to be the same. Some might require a little bit more than the other, but at the end of the day, still treat each person with respect and dignity. That's basically the biggest of my role.
When we talk about, you obviously have a passion for this, given what happened with your family, but talking about what's your why? I love that he said, what's your why? You have to remember your why. What's your why when it comes to being in nursing?
So my why is solely on my faith and my inner character. I believe that we were put here to help people. Whether someone else believes that or not, that's not up for debate. For me, it's personal. I believe that I was placed on this earth to help somebody. If I can help just one person and change their life, I've done what I was supposed to do. That's just enough for me. But the characteristics that I have, I'm not going to stop there. I'm going to want to keep helping people. Once I see that smile and that change in somebody's life, I'm going to continue to try and do that for other people, because I've been in places where I felt low and I felt like I had no one. And even as a nurse, you sometimes may even feel that way. But at the end of the day, you have your coworkers, you might have that one patient that shows you that you do matter, and I appreciate everything you do. And it just keeps me going every day.
Yeah, definitely. You mentioned those relationships are very important, especially in your role. So where else do you find joy in your position as a nurse?
Honestly, I'm really big on communication, and so I love talking with my patients. I know they probably get tired of me talking, but I'm gonna ask a bunch of questions, get to know them. I love to also just go to different departments and talk with other coworkers. Whenever I walk in, people are always speaking to me. Someone's like, Jacolby, how do you know all these people? It's because that's just my personality. I love to interact with people. I love to spread. If I have some joy in me, I want to spread it to somebody else.
Love to hear it. And what would you tell someone who is interested in nursing?
I would tell them, go for it. At the end of the day, you truly never know what you can do or what you're capable of unless you try. If you don't try, you'll never be able to say that this is for me or this is not for me. So I encourage you, if you're thinking of joining the nursing team or whatever team you're deciding on, to try it.
I know that you mentioned that you're coming up on that 1 year. When we talk about reflecting on your time as a nurse, what do you love most about taking on this role?
So this is actually something that is really near and dear and personal to my heart. As I stated earlier in the interview, nursing was not my first career choice. My actual first career choice was medical school. Life happens, that's just life. And working in nursing, being able to experience the patient, the collaborative team efforts, management, just all of it in one has sparked something in me again to pursue medicine. And so I'm actually going to this coming up cycle, apply to medical school, and this is all due to nursing because of the experience that I've had, all positive, has remolded the person that I once was and made it even better to where I know now I am ready. And so I'm truly grateful for nursing.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you. And what can people do to best support nurses during this week?
If you see anyone on the road, on the sidewalk while you're walking, your first thought sometimes is to smile or wave or nod. That's all sometimes a person needs. Even if they're not a nurse, whatever they're doing, maybe their day isn't the best, but sometimes a nice smile, a nice hi, how you doing, may change somebody's outlook. So I encourage you, if you think that it's a nurse, or even if you don't know if it's a nurse, just smile and wave and nod.
I'd love to hear that.
I think my only other question is talking about why nursing is important. You talked about how your day-to-day, you're able to touch so many people's lives, you're able to meet so many different people. Why is nursing important, and it's an important career?
Nursing is important because people are often, when they come to see us, they're often at their lowest. They're often at the spot where they don't know where to turn, and obviously they turn to us. So if you think about every situation, whether they're in there for a cold or anything above that, if you think about where they may be at that situation and hold that in your heart, you'll be able to change that person's life possibly. They may get a diagnosis that they didn't want to get, and you may be that conduit that's able to hold that person together, that's able to explain to them what's going on a little bit better than somebody else may have, or better than they thought they knew. And so nursing is truly an art and a science is what I believe that it is. It's a science as we learn so many things, but it's an art because you have to mold, change. Something might not look good this way, and so you might want to do it over a little bit, and so that's why it's an art. And the patients, again, are so important. You just truly have to know how to deal with people, and that's one of the biggest parts about nursing that I love and that makes it so interesting.
I think you answered all of my questions, so it should be good.
Perfect. I think you're good.